Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Learn It This Way. I'm Mahalia and I am sick. So bear with me as I go over my August wrap up with the Newts and the Disneyreadathon. I was on Team Mulan. So let's get into it.
Mahalia, in this world, you must know who you are.
So I'm looking at my notes here because my mind is just not there. I don't know if you can hear the congestion, but it's been a really hard week. Very, very hard. So I'm going to go through all the books that I've read and what have the ratings I have given them, and then I'm not sure in where I'm gonna have in the cards the link to the TBRs. Good boy. So, oh, sorry about that. So for Team Mulan, I didn't finish. Okay, I'll just let you just see this. Okay, so for powerful female lead, which was Mulan, I read The Girls of Paper and Fire, and I gave that 3 out of 5. I listened to it on Audible, which it was pretty good. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't like it. Oh, there's a lot of triggers and there's like bestiality and all this stuff." And I was like a little nervous about reading it, but then once I did, I was like, let me just read it and get my own opinion of it. I read it and I was like, "Oh, this is good." Like, I did not like the main character. I love Ren and Lei's relationship in the slow burn, but I did not like the main character, Lei. I think there was a purpose because I liked Ren so much more. Like, she was just like, "What did you expect?" kind of thing. But Lei didn't know what to expect. So I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then the world building I loved, the pacing I loved, and I'm gonna close this door, so hold on a minute. Okay, so I love the world building. I loved how detailed the story was and how the story was written, but I could not give this more than 3 stars. Like, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like, I need more. So there's that. And then the prompt featuring a squad, I chose Never Die by Rob Hayes. This book was 5 out of 5. This was so good. Like, the twist and the whole plot was gathering heroes of the past, or just like really cool fighters of the past, and bringing them together to stop the evil emperor. So it kind of felt like a Jet Li Fearless kind of thing, when he's like slowly telling the story of how he defeated all these bad guys, and he's slowly getting closer to the emperor. That's how I felt when he was like, there's a kid and he was entrusted with a mission from a Shinigami to stop the emperor. And so he is picking up all of these infamous and important heroes of their time and bringing them back to life to stop the emperor. So he's going to all these battles and just like scouring the battlefield for these heroes. And I could not get enough of that book. Like, I I totally recommend if you like military, if you like psychological twists, if you like good battle scenes, if you like character concept and just like I just like the book was so good, you guys. Like, oh, I can't breathe. Hold on. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I made this like huge medicine ball tea, and it's been lovely. However, it isn't like getting rid of like the ugh. But I'm hoping that schmur. So I had to read a YA romance. I chose and I darkened. I don't have it because I DNF'd it and I unhauled it. Like I don't keep books that I won't read again. And so if I DNF it, I usually just get rid of it right then and there. So I donated it to a secondhand bookstore. And the book that had to be 500 pages was Stiletto. The the book that was 500 pages, which I also used Stiletto for my Newts Transfiguration, the next book in a series, which I got that part. This is the sequel to Rook, and a lot of people were saying, oh, it's not as good as Rook. I thought this was really good. I gave this, how much did I give it? A 4 out of 5? 4 out of 5 stars. So this follows different characters, but we still see Rook, Thomas, who is our protagonist in the first book, where this is a secret British X-Men kind of organization where there are pawns, there are rooks, and everything is kind of like a chess set. And they have been fighting with these scientific grafters for centuries. And the grafters are science-based. They are more like the people who kind of have the AI transplants and everything like that. So think of okay, so just think of like Cyborg, pretty much. That's what they are. The grafters versus X-Men. So cyborgs that are genetically modified on purpose to enhance their already natural gifts versus people who are born with powers, which they have been at war because they believe that one or the other is an abomination. And so in this book, they are trying to come to peace. They are trying to come together and just stop this war. However, there are people on both sides who are against it. So we are following Rook Thomas, and Odette is the representative for the grafters, and she's like, 19 or so, and she is completely annoying for like the first half of the book, and then she has her bodyguard from Rook Thomas, who is Pawn Felicity, who is super awesome, and she's like in their special forces unit, and it is awesome. And I could probably keep talking about this book, but I only have so much in me. So I thought this was super good. Like, I was like, oh my god, I love this. I like stayed up to read it. Like this was over 500 pages, right? So it was 580 pages. And I read this in a day, and I could not not read it. Okay, next. So for Team Mulan, we had to read the group book, and it was either Spend the Dawn or Cersei. And everyone was talking about how great Cersei was and how awesome it was. Cersei is by Madeline Miller. Cersei by Madeline Miller. I gave this a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. So this story put me in a reading slump. This story wounded every bit of me after reading it. And I listened to it on Audible because I was just like, what the hell? Like, why not? The storytelling was beautiful, the words, the metaphors, just the writing itself was done so well that I could not help but continue reading it. But I was cringing through the entire book. Like, I was like, who like purposely reads this sad, awful book? And through the entire thing, I was just like, Cersei does not catch a break. And I think that was the point. And if I had to describe this book in a sentence, it is, what would you do for love? And not necessarily for love for another person, but for yourself. Because at the end, obviously, if you read it, you know she finally does something for herself rather than she's always doing something continuously for other people who she loves. And I thought that her character was like it was like she was just trying to just like make it in this world where women weren't, like they weren't treated well. Then she finds out like little things about her sister that she thought, like, oh no, like that's not true. So she's naive about a lot of things because she's like deluded herself into thinking certain aspects and romanticizing in the stories of like the gods versus the Titans. Cersei is a Titan. She is Helios's daughter, and she is insulted by her entire family. Like, she's unwanted, and she is like the underdog until shit gets real, and she does something. She falls in love with the human man, and she just kind of like sacrifices everything for this man who she thought loved her. But then it doesn't happen like that, and life kicked in and slapped her up a few times. And at the end, I'm just like, huh? Like, okay. I was pretty satisfied with the end, and I think that's why I gave it 4. Because I was like, she can't catch a break. Like, damn. So, because of this book, it took me, I just couldn't read another book, and I had my Newts to complete. So, for herbology, let me see. Sticky note to tell me what I passed and what I didn't, because I'm one of those people. So I passed herbology. I'm going into being a healer, although I didn't finish my Newts. I failed it. But let's talk about what I passed. So I passed herbology. For the audiobook, I used Girl of Paper and Fire by Natasha. Oh, not Nagan. Is the N silent? Natasha Gon. I don't think I'm saying that right now. I apologize. For the E for herbology, a book between 350 and 390 pages, I chose The Queen Con by Megan Scott Molan. I love this series so much. Like the Golden Arrow series is so good. It follows MG, who is a comic book writer, and her boyfriend detective trying to solve the case of the Golden Arrow, which is based off of a true crime event. So if you love mystery and you love nerdy, like Game of Thrones references, Star Wars references, Harry Potter references, all of us do, then The Queen Con, the Golden Arrow series by Megan Scott Molan is the book for you. I got that 5 out of 5, like easy, which is really hard. I can't breathe. Okay. So for herbology, for flower on the cover, I use Cersei, and I will have the cover appear somewhere, and it is the cover with the flowers on it. For charms, I had a book with a pretty cover. I chose Cersei. And for manga, I chose, it's called Mari Mashita Aruma-kun, and I read volumes 1 through 10, I think. I think I read 1 through 10. And pretty much the synopsis is Suzuki Aruma has been sold to the demon by his irresponsible parents in exchange for money. Surprisingly, the next thing he knows, he's living with the demon and has been transferred into a school in the demon world. So, this, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This is more comedy and it's like underdog and you feel for the character, but it's a really good like slapstick shonen kind of like thing where his parents sold him and the demon wants a grandson. He doesn't have kids, but he wants, to be a grandparent like the rest of his colleagues. So he goes to the human world and buys him a child. Kind of like adoption, except, it's like a drug deal kind of thing. But, so, in a way, it works out because you find out that Iruma's parents are, like, they were awful. Like, he was always in a situation where, like, he had to figure it out on his own. So, during the trials of the school and all his exams, he's using those past experiences to pass his classes, which is amazing. And he is finding out more about himself. It's kind of like a coming to age, too. Sorry. And I enjoyed this. So that was my manga for Charms. And I kind of made it for paperback, too. I don't know. For paperback, no, I didn't do paperback because I only needed the NE, which is the manga. So done with that. Next, for Defense Against the Dark Arts, I didn't complete it like at all. Like I ended up skipping it because so I was supposed to read The Traitor Baru Cormorant, and I DNF'd it and I got rid of it. I could not get into it. It just wasn't for me. Ripper, I tried to do the Audible and I tried to read it, but I wasn't in the mindset to read it, thanks to Cersei. So I didn't. And I was just like, no. And I just couldn't get into it. So I DNF'd it, but I kept it because it was still like really good, but I couldn't force myself to get out of the reading slump that I was in. So for Transfiguration, I read something, it was read a book with LGBTQ plus in it. And so I chose Murcielago, which I loved this manga series. It is very sexual, so if that bothers you, I wouldn't read it, but it pretty much is, so it's Murcielago, and I read 11 volumes, and all of them I gave 5 out of 5. Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis. In a city overflowing with heinous crimes and violence, 2 girls make it their job to kill criminals who cannot be dealt with by police. So, Kumori, why can't I couldn't say that. Kumori Kukuro, who is currently receiving the death sentence. However, a government official comes in with a young girl, Hinako, who ends up being Kokuro's like saving grace and also her leash in a way. So Kokoro and Hinako are partners in finding and hunting serial killers that the government cannot deal with. And each one has a backstory and they're both linked, and you meet all the other people that Kokoro is involved in and the people she kind of takes in, which pretty much is like Dexter except with women. And there's a lot of like girl romance in this, and it's very graphic, so if that's not your thing, I would not read this. However, the action in this is so good. They have Yakuzas in this. There's like a volume that deals with like a crazy like church murdering people. Oh, it's just so crazy. And each one of the serial killers, Kokoro has to explain to her supervisor, who is this like straight-laced cop who does not understand why she's walking, free, how serial killers think and why she has to do what she does. And he hates her, and she scares the hell out of him and everyone that he works with. But it's just this manga was really good. Like I was just so happy to read it. However, I read it before I read Cersei because I was like kind of hopping around because reading in order is not my thing. So I gave this 5 out of 5. I read all 11 volumes and it was worth it. So I passed that. The E for Transfiguration was next in the series. As I said, I read Stiletto. And it also, Stiletto also fell into my O for Transfiguration, a book 500 pages. So I don't know if, that was allowed to do, but I did it. But I didn't, as I said before, pass my Newts completely. Because when I got to potions, I ended up going backwards. I as you know, the for potions, it's someone's favorite, which I read Vicious, and I stopped and started and stopped and started because I just could not shake the reading slump. Hogwarts House Colors, I'm reading it actually for the Monsterathon, and the book is Medusa Uploaded by Emily Davenport, and I am currently reading it for my Monsterathon Team Conspiracy thing, so I'll have that in the cards above as well. And I just could not get through it. I don't know. How did you guys do on your Newts? I was looking and so many people passed theirs, and I was so happy for them and so jealous all at the same time. But that is my long-awaited August wrap-up. I did not really read many books in July. I'm going to look really fast on my Goodreads because I try and be organized. But oh, that's a lie. So another book I read in August was the Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. Oh my gosh. Okay, this has nothing to do with like a readathon or anything. This was just an arc I was given by Random House Publishing Group Ballotine. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, calm down. Whew, breathe. This gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender meets Full Metal Alchemist meets what's another one? Meets The Golden Compass kind of thing. If you slapped all those together in a post-war kind of series, this book I gave 3 out of 5. Only because there were some parts in the book that I was like, this is too drawn out. This is too slow. This book was so good. It's pretty much post-war. There are nations where the war has devastated the land and the people in it have not been doing so well. There is like the Fire Nation. I know I'm not going to do too many Avatar references, but to get my point across. So we're following Prince Jerumo, Shaolin and Lee and Tala. Shaolin, Lee, Tala, and Jimuro. These 4 characters are trying to go to a peace treaty, pretty much. They're trying, the whole point of this book is to get the prince from the Iron Nation to back to his palace. He was incarcerated and he's being transported by Tala and her squad to go to this peace treaty. Although Tala is a product of war, she is badass. Like Full Metal Alchemist kind of badass. Like she had, but except with spirits, the whole spirit thing. But I say Full Metal Alchemist because one of her spirits, I'm not gonna spoil that, but like if you Edward Elric kind of feel, that's what she has. Like off, if you like, and I'm just giving myself a headache. Sorry, I just got so excited. It was too much for me. So pretty much the book is about post-war peace and how countries are going about it and how people are handling it in political power. If you like politics, if you like mystery, fantasy, drama, if you like multiple character perspectives, this is a book for you. I'm giving my honest opinion about it. No, this isn't like sponsored or anything like that. I just really enjoyed this because of what I just said. So I think I can name like a few people who I know would like it, but then I don't know. It's so scary. I read Web of Eyes, the Buried Goddess Saga by Rhett C. Bruno as well. Why did I read that? I don't remember. It is about a thief and a knight coming together for the greater good. They're going into this kind of forbidden forest to find the Empress's son's doll that is holding his soul. So pretty much the Empress and the king kind of, the savage married a knight to have peace, and her brother comes asking for help. She says, no, get out of my castle, and he kidnaps her son's soul. And so she's sending tons and tons of people to this forest to get her brother, to kill him, to get her son's soul. And she's losing her mind. The country is like falling apart. She's using all their resources to find her son's soul because that's her priority as a mother. The king is like naughty. Like he's like a puppet. This book I gave 3 out of 5. It was good because of the world building and the main characters, not the side characters, being the Empress and that whole royalty crew. But Thornston is the knight that is sent off into the woods, and he is accompanied by Whitney, which is a thief who is trying to make himself one of the most notorious thieves in the world. And so it's really funny. Like their banter back and forth is hilarious. And I really enjoyed it. It was like a great opening for a new series, I think. And so that wraps up, I think, all of my August reads. I'm looking at it. I see I have some July. But I'll do that on a different video because this is already pretty long. And I need to go take some more medicine. So that's it for me. If you've read any of these books, or if you're curious about any of these books, please put that in the comments down below. I will be trying to do this every Friday. I'm hoping my new schedule. Now that my computer is actually being awesome, I can't find the piece to my camera to hook it up. So I'm hoping to find it soon, so I won't have to work on my computer for too much longer, but work with what I have. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend and happy reading.